This is Thorn the Fox, and, well, I decided to overhaul my question and answers video, and I actually took all the questions from 2 of my videos, which one of them I didn't get posted, to all on one paper, so I'm going to answer them all in one go, and I condensed some of the questions down that were either similar or the same, but hopefully I got everybody's questions all answered for them, and I think I'll go ahead and I'll start these questions for you. And the reason I was redoing this was because the quality of my previous video wasn't all that good, and well, I decided to redo it again because I was watching through it the other day and I was like, wow, what a tart. You're stuttering, you're doing all kinds of crazy. And I just figured I'd do a little bit better of a cut and dry, and, well, maybe not so dry, maybe a little bit more humor and stuff like that now that I'm a little less nervous about talking in my suit and answering everybody's questions. So, let's get these questions underway, and hopefully I can answer everybody's questions, and I'll get some more and answer all of those for you. But first thing on my agenda, hang on a second here, is I'm going to put on my thinking fedora here. Quite fashionable and high class. Yeah, me, high class? I don't think so. Anyways, I'm actually going to start with my suiting questions because I kind of broke them down into categories, and I'll let you know when I change the category. I've got suiting and suiting questions, and then I've got the miscellaneous ones that didn't really have anything to do with suiting. So here we go. First one is, how did I come up with Thorn, and why is she known as the Toxic Fox? Well, Thorn was, well, Thorn's birth was kind of a brainchild of mine, and I actually started out with a standard looking fox that looked like everybody else's fox. She just happened to be purple, and she had green on the end of her tail and had a green underbelly and all that stuff, and with the help of my maker she became what everybody knows today. And the reason she's the Toxic Fox was, well, her color palette kind of reads sort of radioactive. But she still loves giving hugs and spreading that radioactivity around, so come get your daily dose of a radioactive fox, and and you may survive to see another day. I'm kidding, you guys. I'm not really radioactive or gonna make you sick or anything. It's just kind of me having some fun. And my second question was, who made Thorn and how long have I had her? Well, my maker was CFF Studios, or Creature Feature Fabrications as she was known. She's changed her name since then, and I'm not quite for sure what it's changed to. I think it's still Creature Feature Fabrications or something along those lines. I'm not exactly for sure on the details. And I've had my suit for about 2 years, and she's been to quite a few conventions that are local. I don't travel very much because, well, the funds and stuff just aren't there. So, on to question 3. What do I like about suiting? Well, the thing that I really like about suiting is bringing that imagination to life. Most little kids anymore, they don't really have much of an imagination, in all honesty. I mean, look at electronics and TV and stuff. It's gotten kind of mind-numbing, and kids are kind of lacking in imagination, and most of them don't go outside and play because they'll say, well, there's nothing to do. Me? I went outside and I used my imagination like any other kid of my generation. So, what I like about suiting is that magic. These kids are seeing this and like, wow, that's awesome. I wish I could think of something like that. Thorn was part of my imagination. She was always my alternate personality. She was my open, rambunctious, fun and ornery personality, and she came to life, and here she is, and standing before everybody and being the ornery fox that she is. And on to my next question, which is kind of similar to the third one, but it's a little bit different. what makes me happy while suiting, and then the reverse side of the coin, what's my fear about suiting? Well, what I like about suiting is that I kind of get to release some pent-up energy that I get to be that kid again. I mean, my actual age is 23. Nobody would normally guess that, but I'm 23 and I act like, in suit, I act like an entirely different person. I act quite a bit younger. And I kind of like it. I'm one of those people that I may be an adult, but I don't like adulting sometimes. I like to be a kid sometimes, and Thorn is my opportunity to do that. She lets me bring the inner kid out in me. And, well, the other side of that coin is, what do I fear about suiting? Well, that's kind of actually a really easy question to answer after I thought about it for a little bit. My fear is I don't like going out in public to suit and stuff, and knowing that most of the people don't understand it, and they have that misconception that I'm there for the wrong reasons. In all honesty, I'm not there to abduct your kid. If anything, I'm there to play on the swing set and all of that stuff. I mean, I'm not there to steal your kids. I'm not there to cause trouble. I'm just there kind of getting it out there, making people happy, making people smile, making the day just a little bit brighter for everyone out there, because it is unusual around where I live for fursuiters. In fact, I believe I'm the only one around where I live within a 45-minute drive. I mean, I've got two big cities on either side of the place that I live, and there's a few suitors in those locations, but there's none around here. None that I'm aware of, at least. I've kind of tried to reach out, and I just haven't had any luck finding any. So, boiling it down, the fear that I have about suiting is the misconception that everybody has about it. And I've had to explain it to a few people, and I mean, they've come up and asked me, well, why are you doing this? What are you doing this for? Is this a mascot or something? And I have to explain to them, no, I prefer to term it as professional costuming, because people seem to understand that term a little bit better. That I'm a professional costumer and this is my costume, and that's about the explanation that I can give them. And most people are understanding of that, so the misconception's a little bit less. So it kind of puts some parents at ease when you're suiting around kids and stuff like that, so so they know you're not there to hurt them. Okay, and my fifth question, do I prefer plantigrade or digigrade suits? Well, I actually don't own a plantigrade suit, I own a digigrade suit. I love my digigrade. I found that it's a little bit more cumbersome than a plantigrade, but I like the effect of the look that it gives of that extra joint like a feral animal would have. And I think it's just kind of neat, and like if I'm sitting or something and say my little sister comes and sits on my lap, it's kind of like a little pillow. It's kind of nice, and most kids, when they come up to me, they're about that height that they want to pet the side of my leg because it's fluffy. And, well, so that answers that question. I prefer digigrade. I've never owned a plantigrade. I don't know if I would ever go to a plantigrade. I might try one, but I don't think I would actually go off and buy one. And because my first suit was digigrade. Thorn is my first suit, and I think I want to keep it that way, because that's how I picture her, being a digigrade suit. In which I'll move on to my next question. What kind of activity shouldn't be done in suit? That's easy. Anything that's really, really strenuous for long periods of time, you can kind of use your imagination on what all those activities are. Like, don't go run a 5K. And when I mean by run a 5K, I mean actually run it, because you will die of heat exhaustion. And somebody will cut you out of your suit. Paramedics don't care that your suit is thousands and thousands of dollars. They will cut you out of it. They have no qualm about getting the scissors out on a fursuit. So anything that you would deem strenuous out of suit is way strenuous in suit. I don't recommend doing any of those activities in suit. And then I've got, how do I keep from overheating in suit? I personally have a cooling vest, which even though it's a cooling vest, it's still not enough. It's not as good as actually taking a break in suit. I cannot stress that enough to new suitors and even veteran suitors. I believe that every suitor should take a break at least every hour to an hour and a half. Me personally, if I don't take my suit off for over 2 hours, I start getting double vision when I take the suit off because my eyes are a little too far apart and I have a blind spot right between my eyes. So when I take her off, I have double vision and it's bad headaches. And the overheating, I just wish people would quit marathoning and making themselves sick. I've done it personally once. And trust me, conventions are no longer fun when you're sicker than a dog because you're dizzy, you're overheated, you're dehydrated, and the best advice that I can give to any new suitor is before you suit, eat a good meal at least an hour before suiting, drink plenty of water, and make sure you use the bathroom before you get in the suit. And once you are in suit, make sure that you do take breaks and have water because, like I said before, it's no fun to get sick. It really isn't. It's not worth it. I pay pretty good money to stay in hotels at conventions and stuff like that. And if the convention's just not worth it, I feel like I've wasted my money and it's no fun. So, on to my next question. What is the best way to conceal your arms in a partial? I have arm sleeves, but sometimes they're a little bit short up top, so sometimes when I get moving my arm around, my sleeve will scoot up, and sometimes you might see bare arms. The best way, I think, to conceal that problem is try to wear, like, not the little cap sleeves, but actual, like, sleeves, like men's t-shirts and stuff like that. Or, I'm actually wearing a partial right now. I'm not wearing the arm sleeves, but I'm wearing long sleeve shirt. So my paws tuck right into it, so I think that's the best way to conceal it. Don't wear the little cap sleeves and stuff. Me, even in partial, I wear the Under Armour under my shirts, just so if that little bit peeks out, all they're seeing is black. They're not seeing skin. And I'll go on to my next question. Have I ever fallen asleep or worn parts of my suit for warmth? Falling asleep in it is kind of hard because it's kind of hot in here, but as of falling asleep in parts, I fell asleep with wearing my tail once. I don't know why I did it, but I did, and I'll admit to it. And as for wearing body parts to keep warm, I've done it. My feet paws are like my indoor slippers in the winter, so they're kind of nice. And my next question. Inspiration to become a suitor. Who has been my inspiration? There have been so many suitors. There is a countless number of them that have been inspiration to me. One of them is Obito Uchiha, also known as Glowsticks the Husky, or when Glowsticks is cosplaying as a ninja from Naruto, Glowsticks the Ninjaski. He's been such an inspiration to me. He was actually the one that got me into suiting, and I thought he was walking art. It was gorgeous, and I was like, you know, I really like this. And it's just amazing what kind of creations, like suits and stuff. It's amazing what people's minds will come up with, and I've seen some really creative suits. And Glowsticks was also the one that got me into the fandom. He kind of introduced me to the furry fandom, and I mean, I looked into it and I was like, wow, this is really cool. I really like this community. They're accepting. They accept you like family for your differences and all of that. And I was like, wow, I can really get into this. And I welcome other furries. And anybody who wants to talk to me or ask me anything about the fandom or even my suit or advice on suiting, I'm more than happy to answer it. Most furries are. There are those select few that they refuse to break character, but if you ask me a legitimate question and little kids aren't around, I'll gladly answer it for you. That's not a problem at all. In fact, I'm a talkative person. I'm very talkative. Especially in suit. I'm more than happy to talk about suiting. I mean, I can talk about other things, but most people who approach me in suit are like, hey, your suit's awesome. You're so adorable. Can I get a picture with you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Or can I have a hug? Yes, you can have a hug. All you gotta do is ask. And I'll go ahead and move to my next question, which is the best suiting memory and favorite place to suit. Best suiting memory, introducing my little sister to my suit. She still, to this day, after 2 years of being a suitor, she still has no idea it's me. She believes that Thorn is this magical fox that comes to visit her. And, of course, I don't talk in suit when I'm around her because she's only 4. But she has no idea it's me. It's so magical, and that has to be my favorite memory. And I hope to cherish that memory for many years to come, and I hope I have more years to spread that magic to her. And as for my favorite place to suit, I'm a big fan of public suiting as long as the venue that I'm at is okay with it. And that's a big thing for fursuiters. Most public places are okay with it if you ask ahead of time. Like, strolling into Walmart is not a good idea unless you've talked to them ahead of time. I won't lie, I was kicked out of my local Walmart even after I asked because apparently I talked to customer service and somebody in paint saw me and they're like, hey, you can't wear that in here. We have a no mask policy, which was understandable, and I was like, okay, I understand that, and I left graciously. I didn't argue it. I didn't throw a fit. I just left. And I think that's a big thing, is some furs will argue it, and they'll throw a fit, and they'll say, it's my right to suit wherever I want. That's not true. It's not your right to suit anywhere you want. It's good to ask first. I have had the police called on me once because I was at the park with my younger sibling, and some woman thought I was trying to abduct her kids, and of course I wasn't. And she posted a big hullabaloo on Facebook about it, about how she couldn't take her kids to the park because it wasn't safe. And the police got called, and my mom got a call from the police, and she explained the situation, and the police were okay with it. They were like, just let her know that we want to know when she's in town so we know what to tell people if they call with complaints. And that's kind of more so advice. But like I said, my favorite venue to suit at is publicly, and around my little sister is usually at my mom's house, which is always fun and good. She's always happy to have Thorn around, and she's always super excited and hugs her and tells her she loves her and kisses her goodbye when she's done. So with that, I'll move on to my next question. How do I get my ears on my suit to stand up so well? Well, my ears are actually a thicker foam than my face. They're actually an L200, and that's why they stick up so nicely. It's because it is a thicker foam. So that's about all I can say on that, because I didn't make my suit, as I had stated earlier. And more suiting questions continued. Most embarrassing moment in suit. I would have to say, most embarrassing moment, that's kind of a hard one. Well, I butt my nose into things when I first got my suit. Or, like, if I'm at a convention in suit and I'm looking at stuff, I suddenly look down. I've been known to smack cosplayers with my ears. Or sweep stuff with my tail, which is kind of embarrassing. But now that I've been a suitor for a couple of years, I've kind of learned where all of my appendages are. So, like my nose, I don't run into doors now. I don't sweep stuff with my tail. Once in a while I still hit a cosplayer, but I don't mean to, and I apologize to them after I smack them with my ear. And usually they're okay with it. They don't get too terribly upset. They know it was an accident. So, next question. We're moving on to the miscellaneous questions. Woo! And the first question is, what's my favorite con? What's it like at a con? And may fans hug me at cons? My favorite con would have to be Anime Midwest, which was, I went to it for the first time this year, and I was super excited. It was a huge con, and I was just like, oh, sensory overload! And I plan on going next year, and maybe some of you can go next year, and we can hang out and play Cards Against Humanity and be crazy and chaotic and, well, maybe not too crazy and chaotic. I'd like to come back the following year too, so we got to keep it down to a dull roar. So, and what's it like at a con? I've never been to a furry con. I do go to anime conventions, and they're quite fun. There's very few furs there, but the ones that are there are usually super friendly. Some of them are cosplaying furs. Glowsticks is a cosplaying fur. I give him credit for being an amazing furry cosplayer. He has a Team Rocket outfit, and he has a Naruto ninja outfit. Pretty awesome when you see him. And my hat's off to him, because I think it'd be too hot for me to cosplay with my suit on, so more power to him, and kudos to Glowsticks. Can con fans hug me? Yes, you can. Just ask first. And the only reason I say that is because people who are not suitors tend to come up behind fursuiters and grab them. And if you're the owner of a suit, you realize how limited your vision is. Like my vision, I can't see my paws. And I can't see my paws. So I have a handler for that, so I can see, so he can see kids like under my nose where I can't see them, so I don't step on them, because I haven't stepped on a kid yet, and I don't want to start now. So if you hug me, let me know, and be gentle. I have a bad back, and if you pick me up and swing me around, you could hurt me, you could hurt the suit, and you could very upset my handler. So, and we don't want none of that, and I don't want the con to be an issue. I don't want to get hurt. I don't want anybody getting hurt. I'm heavier than I look. I'm short, but I'm stout. I'm a dense individual. I just don't want to hurt anybody, and I don't want anybody to hurt me. Do I like hugs? I answered that before. I do like hugs. And my favorite kind of hugs are the kind of apprehensive ones, the people who are kind of like, they'll kind of look around the corner at you, and they look like they want to hug you, but they don't want to ask because they're afraid they're going to get turned down, or they're not quite for sure. And I just kind of tilt the head and kind of go like that, and maybe squeak when I've got my squeakers in my paws, and usually that's enough to kind of coax them over, and they'll give me a hug, and I kind of like those. I like introducing people to something new. And they find out that it's not as bad as they think it is. And my next question, have I ever been glomped? Unfortunately, I have. A glomp, for people who don't know what a glomp is, it's kind of a flying hug. Like people like jumping and wrapping their arms around you. Unfortunately, I have, and it did hurt. She wasn't big enough to knock me over, but she didn't just glomp me, she glomped me from behind. And it did hurt my back, and I wouldn't tell that to her face, but it's just kind of one of those things. It's kind of a fursuiting etiquette thing. Be gentle with the suitors. We are people in costumes. We get hurt just like anybody else. So, as for the glomps, I have been glomped. Another random question. What's my favorite color? I actually like lime green, which, as you can see on my suit, is like her hair and her polka dots and all of her highlights. I also like purple, which I thought was a really cool accent piece to her color palette. And she actually started out as reverse colors. She was lime green with purple, and it looked funky to me. So I changed it up, and I was like, you know, I kind of like this. I like this. I'll take dark purple with light green polka dots and hair and tattoos and stripes and all kinds of crazy. Next question, what is my favorite season? I love fall, because Halloween just happens to be in that season, and I get Halloween hype. I drive my mate crazy, he's also my handler, and yeah, he can't contain this fury when Halloween comes around. I think I drive him nuts, but I could be doing something worse. I could figure out a different way to drive him nuts, and if Halloween's my vice, then so be it, and he's okay with that. So my favorite season is fall. And my last question for this video is, would I carve pumpkins with my good pal Vintage, the winged thylacine? Yes, I would carve pumpkins with you, sweetheart. I make some of the goofiest faces on pumpkins. I've made pumpkins that look like they're puking. The sky's the limit on pumpkins, and I love carving pumpkins. The only thing I don't like about it is de-gutting them. For some reason, the guts just blech. They kind of make me go blech. Anyways, that's the end of my questions. I answered them all. It was a front and back page, 19 questions if you guys were keeping score at home. And I would like to open up for another question and answers video. If I can get approximately about 20 questions or so, or less, either one. It just depends on when I've got some time and some resources to do another video for you guys. So I'll post a link below so you can find my my fur affinity page, and hopefully you'll get to see this crazy purple fox again, and she'll answer some more of your questions for you. So I hope you enjoyed the video. After I revamped it, I answered old questions and new. So for those watching at home, thank you for viewing my video, and you have a great night.